Hey everybody, Pop here. Today I'm going to talk about my rain collection system and how I encourage all of you guys, if you live in an area similar to mine, which has some intermittent or inconsistent rain patterns, to put you one in. Mine is set up where I have a capacity now of about 600 gallons. I've added another 275 gallon tote to it just recently, and I'll show you how I did that and explain to you how I got mine put together. I'm standing here to show you the roof collection area of my house. It's, as you can see, the rain barrels there in the background, and the roof, which is about 600 square foot of collection area that runs off of that patio into the gutter system there into the barrels. So the roof formula for rain collection is about 1 inch of rain will provide 60 gallons of water for every 100 square feet of collection area that you have. It don't take a whole big building or a whole lot of guttering to collect you a pretty good amount of water every time it rains. Now, the way I've got mine set up is my gutter drops off into that downspout, which then there's a debris diverter that if any leaves or sticks or whatever come down the tube there, then they're diverted by that screen just off onto the top of the tank here, and instead of going inside and causing a mess. So that first barrel kind of acts as the collection in the sediment tank, so to speak, so that the chunkies don't get on over into the next barrel, which is where the pump is. It's a sump pump, and it's being held up by this cable just up off the bottom, and then the power, which goes from that plug up there, will power it. Now, that plug is controlled by an irrigation controller. I encourage you to use that type of controller because they have a circuit on there, a low voltage circuit, that will activate the pump whenever the timer triggers. It's a watering cycle, and at the same time we'll turn on the pump. Now, inside here I have a little 24 volt or low voltage relay that's kicking this 110 power back and forth, controlled off of that irrigation controller. And I'll show you how I got that wired up. I mean, you don't have to get that fancy. You can use any plug-in timer that you want to use. Now, I use mine primarily for hanging baskets. And so I have my system come on twice a day for 5 minutes at a time. And it's going through this header system that runs along the side of the building here, the house. So in addition to the pump, I have a filter to keep the drippers working. Now, I think they're 7 gallon per hour drippers. There's all different kinds, and the main thing is to know that it's a low flow, that it only runs 5 minutes. So if it's a 7 gallon per hour dripper, it's not putting a whole lot of water, but I let it run long enough to where I can see a little bit of water dripping out of all of the baskets. Since I'm pumping up against a restrictive flow volume, then the pump won't move any water when it kicks on if it doesn't have some relief. So on the top of this pump, there's a T. One side of the T goes on up to the drip system, and the other side of the T goes to a valve inside the tank, so that when the pump comes on, some of the water goes through that valve and is allowed to flow, just recirculate right back into the tank. Now, that's just a little thing I had to do in order to make this pump move water and provide pressure against this low flow system. In our area, we have a lot of water restrictions, year-round water restrictions. So I elected to install this, and now don't get me wrong, this rain system does not provide the majority of the water that I use for gardening. It provides a pretty good percentage. It reduces the amount that I would use city water. As a matter of fact, without this rain system, I probably would not have hanging baskets and outside potted plants, because they just require too frequent and too much volume of water to justify that around here. There's a lot of parts of the country that are in similar shape, and so in order to enjoy our plants and stuff, this is what I like to do to try to help that a little bit. Like I said, I encourage all of you guys to get started in it. You have to have a little expense for putting your system together, but once you've got past that, and be honest with you, I've scrounged most of the stuff that I use. This latest tote that you're going to see me hooking up, I spent $40 for that tote. Now the price of fittings nowadays are ridiculous. I think altogether, counting the tote and the glue and the fittings and all that, I've still got less than $100 in adding this 275 gallons of additional capacity to the system. Now, you know, it's not going to be for everybody, but it's the way I got mine set up, and it works well for me. So anyway, we'll get on after it. Thank you. So anyway, that's my drip system. The rainwater collection system. I have one more, almost forgot to tell you about. Now this is just a gravity feed. There is no pump, but I have the barrels stacked on top of each other to make it about almost 8 feet tall. So 8 feet, is about 4 pounds of pressure, and this is them there stacked on top of each other, and then the water comes out the bottom, and in this case it goes into the greenhouse, this gravity feed, and the valve that turns it off and on is in there. I'll walk in there and show it to you. This is the hose from that line out there, and the way I turn it off and on, I leave that valve on all the time over there. It's tucked in there under those shelves, and you just pick up the hose and it just starts coming out. And so, like I say, as that level gets lower and lower, there's less and less available water out there. But here again, it's free, and it's a resource that would otherwise just be evaporating into the air. So thanks everybody for being here on this little rainwater trip. I enjoyed bringing it to you, and I hope that you'll come back and join us again on our next little adventure around here. Thanks for being here. See ya.